2, 1. Go my baby. Go my.
This is Go Chat with Mac, the People's Podcast.
This is a story of stuff. But the dog is his tail. What we can say. We like to have a Red the dog. I'm the dog. House dog. Dog who world you like. Dancing dogs. Yeah. Funky dogs. Nasty dogs.
Welcome to Go Chat with Matt, the People's Podcast. Appreciate y'all for tapping in tonight. The D9 edition, this is the wonderful episode, an episode I've been actually wanting to do for a long time. One of my favorite movies growing up, when I first seen it, like, before I seen Lawrence Fishburne shooting pistols in that Bumpy Johnson movie or anything else, I first seen him on School Days. Brother on the Yard, very strong black. This when black excellence was highlighted. This when the black man and the black woman, but it was something to be proud of when they put it in our face, a different world. You know what I mean? Step out like in colleges. What the name of this? You just got out of prison. You know what I mean? You had the black doctor, you had the black. Before reality TV took over and love and hip hop, black TV had substance. Black movies had substance. Art imitated reality. You know what I mean? It was going on. It wasn't something that had to be created for us to indulge in. It was actually art imitated life. So if it was going on in a movie, it was actually going on in real life. So, nowadays where we see all these regular images of black folks, you know what I'm saying? They don't put the black excellence on us. That's why I go check this with Matt this here. Put us on the post. Excuse me, y'all. I ain't supposed to hold nothing no air, but let them know y'all. So I want to introduce my guest tonight. Appreciate y'all for coming up. We're going to start right here. Like I said, this is the 9 edition. We got a bunch of brothers and sisters for different practices, for all different types of walks of life. It's mainly y'all break down, not too much. I ain't gonna get nobody in trouble, but for anybody that's out there, a child or somebody like myself that still want to pledge, you know what I mean? They gonna give you the ins and outs of it and, the great things. So we're gonna start right here with our sister.
Alright, Nita Jones, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha and I'm a spring South Florida this year and for the Alpha Phi chapter at North Carolina A&T. My name is Natasha Davis. I'm a final woman of State Finance and Sorority Incorporated. Pledged spring 2006 at Swan Gamma Beta right now, North Carolina. I am Tia Lucas. I am a devastating diva of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I crossed the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University, Spring 03.
My name is Rashaun Jenkins. I'm a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a Spring 18 initiate through the Epsilon Simple Alpha Chapter C here in Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
My name is Damian Tucker. I'm a Spring 1992 initiate of the Union Chapter of the University of North Carolina in Wilmington, and also member of the Rocky Mount Alumni Chapter here in Rocky Mount. Great Box, the Bros, Megan Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, across 2019 at Shaw University, Belgian Side Chapter.
And I'm Amari Hankins. I am a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I crossed at East Carolina University, spring 2018. And shout out to my sisters. And you.
That's all right. That's all right. It's love. I'm so jealous right now. I'm going to say back to the chapter. That's coming. The vision of the black man. We are here. I can say that. That's all right. So right here, what was y'all organization stats? Who did y'all, who was your founder and when was it?
Okay, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated was founded in January 15, 1908 on the campus of Howard University. Beta Phi Beta Sorority was founded in January 16, 1920 on Howard University. Delta Sigma Theta was founded on January 13, 1913 at Howard U.
Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was founded on December 4th, 1906 on the campus of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York.
Oh, let me ask you this. Cornell always been white Cornell? Cornell has
always been like a
predominant white school.
predominant white.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know when it started out there. When I think of Cornell, I think of Cornell West. Or Cornell for little body.
Right.
It's only $20, and when I see you, buddy, I need it. Cornell. Anyway, this is the light, y'all. Mr. Turner.
Kappa Alpha Psi was founded January 5th, 1911 on the campus of Indiana University, Bloomington, Indiana, by T.N. Young, L.Tree Slushery's name. Megan Alpha was founded November 17, 1911 on campus of Howard University.
And Sigma Gamma Rho was founded November 12, 1922 at Butler University in Indiana.
Y'all know stuff. That's all right. Let me ask you this. All right, so when you was growing up, right, were there any family members or any influences that you seen that you looked to that when you went to college you used to play that game?
Definitely. I grew up surrounded by Alpha Kappa Alpha women and sisters, women from other organizations. I was fortunate to have relationships or mentors from each and every group. So that was special to me, but the Chi Omega chapter here in Rocky Mount really nurtured me from infancy on up, and they were women who were just so elegant, and I couldn't wait to emulate and be a part of their group, and that's when I joined Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Man, you need folks like flowers.
Oh, definitely. Some of them aren't here anymore, but we had Sylvia Austin, who was a counselor at Rocky Mount Senior High School. We had Vicki Austin, who was a teacher at Deanwood Elementary. I had Lorraine Odom at Edwards. I had Michelle Wallace, now Royster at Edwards. A long line of educators that were members of Alpha. Miss Thorpe Barnes, Yvette Thorpe Barnes. Well, she wasn't my teacher, but my mother is also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha as well.
I know you did. I did not say your mother.
We were getting there. We were getting there.
Okay, all right. We gonna clean that up more. We gonna clean that up.
I didn't get mother. I'm getting there. So like Shanita, I was raised in the Greek environment in Rocky Mount. My mother was Zeta, godfather was a Q, cousins Kappa, Alpha, involved in all of we were kind of running all of the little team, organization, team groups, patterns. That was our childhood. So like, we all remember B. Carol. She was sorority sister.
For real.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Beatrice Carroll. Dr. Carroll.
The three ladies saying this.
So those were some of the women that influenced me to go on the radar.
Okay.
Well, mine was a little bit different. I am the first in my family to be Greek anything, but growing up in my neighborhood, there were some heavy hitters that very devastating evils. To name a few, Claudia Spencer, Miss Laura K. Thomas, and then the very so awesome Miss Soror Mary B. Sutton. So those women I watched growing up, they were very positive in the community. They knew me probably from birth. They pretty much instilled it in me. So when I knew when I went to college, I knew what I wanted to do.
Okay. Was there anybody that you seen growing up that influenced you?
So my experience is very similar to Tia's. I did not have anybody in my family that was Greek affiliated at the time. Never had a male teacher who was part of a Greek organization, but I did have a 7th grade teacher who was very much loyal and loved her sorority, and that was Miss Jewel Williams. Miss Jewel Williams was my 7th grade teacher. She was a founding woman of Zeta, and I am proud to say though that my biological sister, she is now a founding woman of Zeta Phi Beta as well. So I kind of led that charge in my family, so to speak.
Okay. Then how about you? Was there anybody you looked to?
Nobody in my family was Greek at all. My first experience with Greek life was school days also. When I was going to school, college, I applied for a big scholarship. And we were like, we know exactly where I did not get the scholarship. But I went to college there, and so my first year on campus there, I was at a regional campus. It was the other thing. And that's when I started looking at the life thing. But we were one of those things for me all. Okay. Gotcha. Listen, let me find out. You know. Everybody go down and see where I am. My first teacher is but I was introduced to just Greek life by Miss Right. Unfortunately, I have to use different teachers, different staff. You take us to the really tournament one time. We have to perform on the stuff. That's really what I think is how we realize. So I think it's like when we were young, like everybody you. I was like me, so I'm like, just explaining the same from a business side, not just part of it. Dedication and school and things like that, and how much of an amazing man he was. Kind of just, turning on for lack of another term.
I wanted to be a teacher. My friend was Mike Bailey. Shout out Mike. Yeah, because Mike had two birthday out there. He was big. He's telling me all about that one day or two white belt. You know what I mean? He worked hard, you know what I mean? All the guys respecting the big old girls every time. Their mom, you know what I'm saying? So that was in my life. He was the coach of the basketball team. You know what I mean? He made teaching look cool. You know what I mean? That's what, good thing about, the educated people. Of course, you get to teach. But also, you want to create that vibe, the family environment. Like, you don't want to let it slide, but you want to make it last fun to go to. I want to know, my baby, we gave about them guys. He was the cool teacher. You never play with it. But every time when spring comes, you got to leave that short so you stop about that. You know what I'm saying? So you can what's up, man?
Growing up, nobody in my family is Greek or in the community. That's like that. A year before I crossed, my cousin actually sent me again for me to the same university. And I look up to her a lot. She's an engineer now, very smart, beautiful black woman. So when I saw what she was doing, I was like, I want to learn more about that. So she really was the one who kind of got me more to read. Made her really great to see. So shout out to my cousin Andrew. Love her so much.
But the one that made it sound, what made y'all choose y'all sword at the time? Like, what was the doctor that you like? Some people have, like, he was looking like, say, he had no mama. I mean, you thought all of the things that you are. You know what I mean? I had never had that. When you got people that you looking at, you got putting up, practice. You always choose to go about hate followers, the real thing, put it in your name. There's a lot of things that you have really options.
For me, it was pretty clear cut, but I do have a sister who's a member of Delta Sigma Beta as well. So having my mother's AKA isn't necessarily a determining factor for what I was going to do. But when I stepped onto the North Carolina A&T campus, the AKAs were it. We had the highest GPAs on campus.
Try to get nasty.
That made a difference. The people who were in the organizations that I met once I got campus just sealed the deal. You have it in your heart before you get there. You've been exposed to it. But the people on the different campuses really make a difference in making the decision, because ultimately you're tied to them for a lifetime. And so I genuinely like the people that I crossed with. So for me, it was kind of like shooting that I knew it, and I had to go through a self-discovery period of this was truly where my heart was. Because me and Tia talk about this all the time. Most people don't know. I lied about who my mother was going to North Carolina. Because at the time, she was a state director. I did not want to be anywhere affiliated with her. And then I walked into a meeting and somebody recognized me, and that just went out the door. And I was embraced by the ladies on campus. And it was just like, all right, this is it felt right. Because this is a lifetime. This isn't just something that we do and it feels good in undergrad. It is something that is going to be with you. It's a part of your life. Until the day you die. And so it was just like, all right, I'm doing it. I also knew that if I came back right now and said, hey, this work I'm supposed to do. All right now with them. If I had come back and called Shanice's mom and said, hey, Miss Pablo, I'm going to be AKA. All right, you know what it is. My mama would still be there, her way blue, whatever. But I would still have the support, because at the end of the day, we might joke amongst each other, but we are all one big family. Absolutely. So, yeah.
What about you, Sister T?
And we used to joke about this all the time. We crossed a year apart, but both crossed the A&T. We both came from Rocky Mount. And just like she said, once you got on campus, it sealed the deal. Now, they could do about it today. But run the record. It's still. It's still a deal once I got on campus. I mean, it was instilled, I ain't say it's still to me, but it was pretty much instilled to me as growing up. And just like the positive said, if I came back and said, hey, I'm a Zeta, her mama would have embraced me. Same thing if I came to Shanita, mama, and said so and so. Her mama would have embraced me. So it was like one big happy family, but once I stepped foot on A&T campus, I knew for sure that's what I wanted to do. And it wasn't something that I wanted to just pick up and say, hey, I'm going to do my undergrad and then throw it in the trash can once I finish. Because it's a lifetime commitment. You still have to do community service. You still have to give back. You still have to have some poise about yourself. So you can't be out here all with it. So it was instilled, and it was a done deal once I got on campus.
Everybody, so
This is not about yourself. What made you choose your path? You did.
Right.
So what made you choose that? I think what made you go your path?
Right. So unfortunately, the alphas were absent for a little bit of time, so that gave me a little bit longer to reflect on all the organizations. And so, of course, having to wait until the grad level. I mean, I had the chance to really see a lot of great. By this point, professionally, I've met a lot of friends who are part of all these great organizations represented. So, I had a little bit longer to do some soul searching. So I didn't have that pressure of, man, my dad gonna kill me if I don't do this, or my mama. My mama would do this. And so I just knew that, for me, my background is history, and I just feel like at every critical moment in American history where America needed a black man, like you can find the alpha man. And I wanted to be that man in my community. I wanted to be that man in my school. I wanted to be that man in my family. And for me, wanting to be that alpha man was just what felt right. And just, it's the only thing to me that could have matched where I was. You know what I'm saying? So having said that, it's been everything.
What's the tough with about yourself?
Well, like I said, I went to campus not knowing anything about Greek life, and for some odd reason at UNC Wilmington, they had the alphas down there for the regional conference, and I went to the step show, 8 or 9 alphas, step team step, and I was like, I got to do that.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I said.
Yeah.
But then we had a meet and greet on campus, and I listened to the alphas talk, the omegas, and there was a gentleman there that was a lieutenant colonel who spoke about the Capitol, his experience at the Capitol.
Right.
And the way he spoke about it, and the way he carried himself, kind of said, that's what I want to be. That's how I want to be, going throughout college and throughout the rest of my life. And so after that meeting, I went and spoke to him and talked to him. And then the next day I went to his office and spent probably 3 hours in his office. He was the director of career planning and placement at UNC Wilmington. And he talked about his experience at Virginia State, where he pledged in the late 40s, early 50s, and showed me all the pictures. And at that point in time, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Like I said, nobody in my family was Catholic, nobody was Alpha, nobody was an Omega. So after talking to him, that's what I said, this is what I want to do.
Right.
And so from that point forward, I figured out what I needed to do. Because I pledged as a second semester freshman at UNC Wilmington. So I figured out what I needed to do there to join the Catholic.
I thought you had to wait a year. That's not true.
It depends on the school.
It depends on the school organization. So after I pledged that spring '92, our organization changed the rules about when you pledge in after a certain number of hours.
I got my schedule. I was like, where the kids at? What do I need to do? And chill out. They was gonna go to class first. First week. I was trying to be in the public with them on the rip. Man, what about you? What about you?
I wanted to lose, man.
Straight up.
I wanted to lose. I wanted to take my shirt off, up around, all
That was you just saying you wanted to be a cop.
in high school. Okay, when I got to school, I'm hanging around because my mom fraternity, it's the most unselfish group of brothers like I've ever been around.
Yeah.
It's just everybody loves everybody. I mean, people are bigger every now and then. That's just mine.
Yeah.
But just being around Q's and Omegas, older Q's, younger Q's, it's just a brotherhood. It's really a friendship, and that's what you want. You want to be a part of something big.
Right.
I didn't have brothers, other than football team and things like that. So being able to lean on somebody like that and have them in your back pocket or at your back, it's just a feeling that you can't stop.
It's like I'm sorry to put you on, you know what I mean? Like acting legit on this because people act like they can do stuff and live alone and they can get a really high past the kids. Everybody wants somebody to talk to.
Right.
Outside, you know what I mean? Somebody you can joke with, and that's like you said, I didn't have no brothers or no sisters in the household going on. So, like I said, I don't want the same reason you said, that's why I wanted to be a part of the fraternity. You know what I mean? If game culture was prevalent when I was growing up, I probably would have been a gamer because there was lacking in my household. Somebody to call brother, somebody to call sister. You know what I'm saying? Look, when mama and daddy argue, I ain't got nobody to get to me to tell themselves. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. I got to pretty much take all of that heat on my own and all that trauma. It won't be bad. Like, but you know how it is, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad you highlighted the camaraderie of things. And I did find that in the military later on. But then you go ahead.
No, I mean, that's really, why I did. Okay. Want something different.
Okay. What about you, Lisa?
Well, the first thing that kind of got me interested when I first started doing my research, Sigma Emperor was founded like right across the street from the Kensington, their headquarters. I was like, wow, if these women could battle that and weren't scared, I want to be a part of that. So I started looking then, and then the very first yard show I went to, I remember recording everybody except Sigma Emperor. I was in awe. Like, whatever she doing, I want to learn that. I want to be a part. When I would go to their program, their grad chapter, they just love it. They were nice to me already. They didn't look down on me because I wasn't part of them. They would see me on campus. They would speak to me. And that would mean a lot to me when other orgs kind of walk by them and they kind of listen up. You're invisible to them. But on my campus, just again, Morel, they speak to anybody. So that really helped me as well. Kind of get attached to them. So research, I see you at the yard show, see what they did on campus, the love they gave me before I was even part of the order. So really happy with my decision.
I'm thinking about all y'all take pride in y'all organizations. That's a good thing about all. For those that admit the college, if you didn't like, if you didn't pledge in college, like, if you took a notice to these organizations, what was from your perspective, the AKA's impact on you?
Well, I think, speaking from A&T's perspective, they were always out volunteering at different events. They were highly visible everywhere. So there's an event going on with student body, student government. There was someone there, and they held themselves very highly at most of the programs that I saw. And so for me, it was like, okay, I could fit in here. There were administrators on campus who were members of the organization as well, who started to mentor me on campus. Actually, my first campus job was with a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. She was the chair of my department, and she took me in and she mentored me. And just like Mr. Tucker said, once people start to have vested interest in you, it makes it that much easier for you to go and embrace the culture of the group on your campus.
All these students, like, because they like, that blows my mind. Every time I hear this, when somebody say, the chairman or the director of such and such department took a liking to me. Out of all of these students, what made her gravitate? What made her choose you on, gravitate to you to bring you on to take her under the wing? Because was it a pool y'all or was it just you? I remember y'all would be together, was it just you?
It started off, I would say, a group, but I'm not afraid to ask for help, right? And so I spent time in the office. If I needed something, I wouldn't go see her. Unlike some of my friends who went to school on scholarships, I didn't have scholarship money to that extent, and so she wanted to make sure that everybody succeeded. It was Dr. Cynthia Gillespie Johnson, and any student who looked like they could use the extra hand, she was willing and able to make that happen. And so I can't thank her enough. After we connected, she made sure I was good even when I went to grad school at UT. So I can't complain.
What about you? What was the impact like on your organization, your perspective?
So Later has always been a low-key organization. We don't necessarily always have the biggest group when we go on, but we always have a good group. And I was seeing how the chapter is so careless. In the sense of they weren't just doing the regular feed the kids or feed the homeless. They were doing community service activities like sleep outside for the homeless. So it gave you an experience of what it's like to be homeless. Literally, you came out there in sweatpants, a hoodie. You might have had a sleeping bag, you might not. and we slept in the yard of the same house. And that was just, that kind of just set me back. I was like, wow, this is not your standard. And I've always known the community service events that they do, but it looks a little bit differently when you can be involved with them, not as a child, but as an adult. And I was just like, that's different. And that kind of just, it sat with me for a while. Where I was just like, okay, y'all took a different approach to the service aspect of our college model. And at that point, I went with it.
So, I don't know if I was outside, but I got a bed. We'll be a volunteer to sleep outside.
You slept outside in the military.
I didn't volunteer.
Military still voluntary.
They know all of the 15s, you don't know all the 15s like you don't catch the charge. You know, they be a misdemeanor or a felony, you know what I mean? Look 45 days that you do. Sister T, what was the dentist impact of what you said that you want?
Different things. Like, me and Shamia will play back and forth, but it was just kind of like, when there was stuff going on, we supported each other. So it was just like, we was genuinely one big happy family. Yeah, you got to step off and all the other stuff, but just to step back and see, we was just one big happy family. And with me knowing that I wanted to be adults, I was like, this is what I want to do. They're not bickering, they're not arguing, they got business, and they just made a huge impact on campus. One of the ladies that impacted me on campus, I'm gonna just say this building name, Murphy Hall. Everybody know Murphy Hall. This lady, Judy Rashaun, she kind of took me under her wing. And that was just me walking on campus. She just seeing me, like she said, wasn't scared to ask for help, wasn't scared to get X, Y, and Z done. Dr. Gillespie, even though she was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, she was also my chairperson. So I wasn't scared to ask her for help, and she pointed me in those right directions, knowing what I wanted to do. So it was just always a positive impact. And I can honestly say Judy Rashaun actually made sure that I stayed and did what I had to do. And you need to make sure people relax.
Murphy Hall was this home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was right there by the block.
I thought I was going to a Barbie home.
Then I went to Morrison.
Yeah, you have to get up out of Barbie.
Morrison was in big
Oh, really don't smell pleasant. Oh, boy. I mean, just going experience, like, you know, my mama ain't never like, you know, they kind of, I ain't never smelled, you know what I mean, but you know, it's pretty sure the same for me. Because it's got A, it's got B, it's got E. You know what I'm saying? Somebody it's like, you know what I mean? So, you know, going to that project, you know, like, hey, I know all women don't take care of themselves. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Brother Ted.
So Alpha's word on campus during my undergrad experience.
This is all about the aspect of the community. Listen, something they were doing in the community that gravitated you towards, like,
you know, that we've been able to do.
But you were around in it, like, you know, as far as in you know, before you chose your path. So you were around it.
So a lot of my friends were actually Phi Beta Sigmas when I was at East Carolina.
Okay.
And 96 to 2000. Yeah. So a lot of my friends were in other organizations. Some of my closest friends were Phi Beta Sigmas. And I got to give them credit. I mean, they were really active in the community, very active on campus, doing the things that I'm sure all organizations do in that community. So the model of what I felt like a good fraternity brother, I had plenty of models of what that looked like. But for me, the example,
that situation that kind of gravitated me toward the campus, I didn't know anything about it on campus. I didn't even know about the campus here at Rocky Mountain. I mean, they were a private chapter back when I was in high school, here at Rocky Mountain. But when I decided I wanted to do this, and I went to the interview, and I got through the interview, and my dean, Nate Gill, came to my room and brought this other light-skinned dude to my room, and he was like, "That's gonna be your line, bro." I had met the guy.
Yeah.
Had seen him before.
Yeah.
Because he was a pre-med, pre-learner. Really, I mean, I had a brother. I have older brothers. He older than me, so I knew what brotherhood was about.
Right.
But I had to learn through the fraternity eyes also, and I understand what brotherhood is and how to deal with brothers and how much to give and how much to receive from God.
Right.
Because I mean, like you said, there's a give and take about everything. I mean, like Brett said, we don't all get along all the time. We have our disagreements, but at the end of the day, like at a frat meet, at the end of the day, we have this.
When you get organizations, it's a disagreement, but and there's somebody always on this side like y'all need to pass that out and contrast with these people out here, but that you and your friends actually beef with each other. Instead of somebody in the business saying, man, y'all known each other too long. Or he ain't mean to take it that way. Or what's your side of the story? So yeah, that's the thing, like I said, I'm really jealous about that.
But then after, people start showing back up for school, you would see all the brothers getting ready to help move freshmen in. They taking somebody on. Mind you, we just got a football practice. They go, they might put on a frat shirt, boots or whatever. They go to help, mostly the females. So we were, constantly there, helping out with kids. Any type of events the school have, kids were always present and present. Whether it was, student body or anything like that. So it was a pretty big impact.
Okay, what about you, Ms. Akins? What was the impact of your sorority on the norm that you see?
Hey, for AW, what people don't see, it might see us out in the party, but what they wouldn't know is Saturday blends, so we always do civil rights, American movements, different stuff like that just to educate the campus because it is a predominantly white university. So anytime you can learn about what people like us are going through, definitely work in those programs. And I guess, to brag on my org and my chapter a little bit more, we are
He's the one abolished in 1985, sir. Okay. We don't
Ain't none of that. Ain't no more. Oh, okay.
We don't do that.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I can't talk about pledge.
You talk about it. I also come from a big family. We used to, get in trouble for each other all the time. So, how to cover stuff up, keep it going. So I wasn't nervous. But I would just say I was ready.
He was excited. He was ready.
I was ready. And it was a great time to get to learn other people outside of myself. So
you said he was ready and excited.
yeah.
Were you ready off the strip that you just ready to be a number, or was you ready mentally? Because it's sometimes there ain't no such thing as being ready for certain situations. It's always
came into the fold.
okay.
So I didn't have half of the words as my mother had. Yeah, hearing some of her stories, I was like, it's all great.
Yeah.
But coming in 2006, it was no problem. Knowing data history, that was literally things I learned as a child, just picking up the books around the house.
I joined the military. What excited me was the leave like a knock and get out of the truck, and they gave me a $25,000 sign-on bonus. I left January 7th. January 6th, I was at home. I joined you one time. So January 6th, I'm back home. Like, but I got to do the question back. So was it in the point before you actually started that you were like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was ready. Just like she.
Y'all just a damn guys.
Just like.
And so for me, I went into the process already as a working professional and a former coach. So I had this mindset okay, so if it comes down to anything mental, I'm good because this is what I do for a living.
Right.
So I thought I was ready, but I wasn't as ready as I thought I was.
Yeah.
I wasn't, and so for lack of better terms, it was tough. It was traumatic, But it was one of those things where. But it's in your heart, so it ain't no turning back. You know what I'm saying? So you just learn how to to get from point A to point B and survive to get to the next day, and you, at one point, you know it's going to end at some point.
Absolutely.
And so that's what it was for me.
Absolutely.
Because I didn't know what to expect at all. And it was
You see the movie just like that.
right. So I mean, but even the movie is, I mean, you still don't know what to expect.
Right.
When they call you and say we come to pick you up, be at a certain point in time and be ready.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, so all you can do is be ready, say your little prayer. And so, but you know, it's a situation that because I do intake now for our alumni chapter. And you know, the interesting thing about Jordan organization is like there are all these stories about and we glorify the hazing aspect of Jordan fraternity, but it still doesn't make good numbers. Right. Okay? So, but what I teach guys these days is you don't have to hate somebody to make them a good number. Right. Because your selection process should be that important.
That's right.
So, but you can pledge somebody.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to keep them up all night long. Because once they start learning this information, that information is going to keep them up long enough that they're going, by the time that process ends, they're going to be tired. So they're going to have to recall all that information. Because I'm on the board for our province, and so there's certain things I cannot do that we cannot do that I make sure it's not done.
Right.
You know, but like even for the guys in Rocky Mountain that we crossed over the past years, that I've been intake camp for the past 10 years. If they go somewhere in this province or in the southern province or eastern province, if somebody challenges them with their material, they're gonna know it enough and be able to recycle it enough that those guys will think they've been through something without being hit, beaten, brutalized, and all that. Because you can teach it in a way where you don't have to do that.
Right.
And that's what I do, because this is the thing. I'm not going to do something to somebody that wasn't done to me.
Right.
You know, and that's what I try to tell guys, because that's part of the problem that we've had is you push the envelope. You push the envelope, and then we won't have issues that we
At the
have.
point where it's almost like you're trying to make it.
Right.
Instead of trying to, I feel.
But like I said, I've been in this for almost 30 years now. So I've seen it all from the worst part of it to the easiest part of it.
Right.
You know, so I know the happy medium
Gotcha.
between both of them.
Gotcha. Hey,
The gallows. So, I think the first thing you told is expect the unexpected.
right.
Every day, every night, whatever you call it. I played 3 years. First year, they dropped the rock. Second year, I didn't have grades when the time kept taking again. Third year, I finally finished.
You was persistent about it.
Yeah, I didn't. But once you started, you gonna make sure you finish.
If you don't mind me asking, what you mean by dropping line?
They something with national. They couldn't bring a line.
Okay,
It was something above my.
Gotcha.
That was the reason why. So harsh but fair, man. And like Tucker said, you don't have to do all this stuff to make a good, member of the fraternity or sorority. So with us, we see other chapters during our process. So you just have to kind of roll with the punches. That was a portrait word. We don't punch it, but roll with it, and just deal with it, make it to the next day. That's it.
What about you?
I guess starting out, I was ready as anybody can be when you're doing something you're not quite sure how it's going to turn out. I asked my cousin to give me all the details beforehand, and she said no. You will see it whenever you see it, but I trusted her to know that whatever was about to come my way, I was going to be safe, so anything, valuable not going to come to you easy, so I worked hard and I got it done. In the end, I think I was definitely a better person than when I came in.
How long is the process?
I think you can say that it's different for every group, you know.
When you say it's over, that's what
You say it's over.
you say it's over.
There are national standards and legal standards.
So it's pretty much to their discretion. They whenever they feel like y'all ready.
No, I'm saying regulated from the national organization or the campus has rules for Greek life.
Oh, okay.
See, some HBCUs say you don't have spring lines, or you gotta cross, like Central sometimes says you do a fall line, you have to do it before homecoming.
Yep.
Okay. Or in the spring, you have to cross by a certain date.
Yeah, for
April, somebody.
Right.
So it just depends on campus, whatever. It used to be like that for every campus, but I know like A&T now, I think everybody does it together. They do the probate show together.
Oh, okay.
I think they did on the same week.
They did.
Oh,
Because I know like the spring 18 line, it was like 40 something campus.
yeah, it changes.
Yeah, so it just
changes
changes.
depending on year.
Well, nobody show it pretty much gets set up the alcohol. Is it?
The completion.
That's what you
Don't be nervous. I think everybody know that you official.
Right.
Because the whole time y'all go to the process, people won't even know y'all really going through it. Except for like, okay. How hard is it? I'm pretty sure it's hard, but balancing. Because you still got to go to game. You know what I mean? Some people may work. How hard is it balancing the two while playing?
For me, I would say I had a lighter class book that semester, but it's different for everyone. I also had a job, so that made a difference.
You know what I'm saying? Like, was it ever to a point where you felt like you had to choose one of them, like the job or the
Well, no, because the grad advisor on campus made it very clear to us that our parents sent us to school to get a degree, not to play at Alfred. So
The requirements of the organization. I know I can speak for all our organizations. You're not coming in there with a 2.0, 1.0. If you come in there looking with a 2.5, you're already.
So 1.2 definitely ain't gonna cut.
and they get to go to the room. No, sir.
No, they were not doing.
Learn. I'm gonna do this, and let this GPA drop. So you kind of had to figure out what you were gonna do. I did have that particular semester. I did have a lighter load, and I kind of did some planning. I came home the summer before and I looked at my plan of study. I came home the summer before and took the class that I knew was going to be the hardest for that semester.
Right.
And then I transferred that class over. So I came home that summer before, took the class at the tech, and just transferred it over. So that way my course load wouldn't be so heavy.
Planning is important.
Yes, it's imperative.
Proper planning prevents. Absolutely. What about you, brother Jimmy? How was it balancing the two, especially for graduate school? Because graduate school is way more harder than undergrad.
Right. So it sounds like to me that everybody sleep like I should.
Right.
So I just said, man, I'll sacrifice whatever I got to do, and unfortunately that sacrifice was sleep, and you just found a way to make it happen. But but time, you still got to manage the time that you don't have. You find time. You know what I'm saying? It's just like even if it's okay, I got to drive to Rocky Mountain that 15, 20 minutes. Let me find something I can play or listen to or what. I mean, you just find creative ways.
I got you with that. I was in grad school driving from Virginia.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What about you, Mr. Tucker?
Yeah, same thing is you gotta, like I said, I was a second semester freshman when I played, so luckily I was still taking some of the the 100 courses that second semester at UNC Wilmington. So it wasn't as bad because I wasn't in my major then. But like I said, even now with my professional career, I've been doing intake for our grad chaplain for the past 9-10 years.
Okay.
And so, not only have to deal with work and kids and family life at home and everything else that I do, but then I got to manage to teach new guys information for a couple hours a night, 2-3 days a week.
Right.
And on weekends. So it can be some long nights. But I'm like, well, Jesus, it doesn't take much sleep for me at all. And not only that, when I was in the process, is you got to not only study for your schoolwork, coursework, but also study the history, because, you're talking about 100 years of history that you got to learn in an encapsulated period of time, and try to recite that information and write it down, because I don't know about the way the tests are there. It's not like the test I had back in 1992. So it's just, so you just got to find that time management. Right. Everybody said.
Right. What about you, Greg? How was it balancing the two? School, like, you played football. So I was,
I guess the biggest lesson for me was just having my LBs. When you're online, you're talking with one. So everybody had each other's schedule and syllabus. Everybody had alarm set, so we can say, hey, okay, I was ace, so I felt responsible for everybody, pretty much. So, Kev, you got class, you going to class, or they'll call me and say, Pops, you got paper due next week, or I worked on stuff like that. So that balance was from my LBs. Okay. They helped everybody stay focused, because we knew that when we had to keep our grades up, and always play football. Only one on mine didn't play football. Right. So we couldn't lack anywhere else. Right. And especially not when we were playing. So being accountable for each other was a big thing for me.
Okay. What about you, Ms. Hayner? How was it balancing the two?
I'm piggyback on them. Honestly, like my mom's sisters, every day, every night, we doing homework together. You need help with your assignment. I'm gonna be, maybe you good in math or you good in this. Like, if I wouldn't have had them, I don't know how I would have been able to balance school and going through the sick camp world. So really just the sister good and having somebody that if you feel like mentally you done, you tired, you can't do it, you got somebody saying, yes you can, we're gonna do it together. So that's really how I do. Rest of us got to have each other's back every day, making sure they had it. They weren't gonna have to support things.
Did anybody ever wake up one morning and say, hey, please?
Here's almost.
So, when you finally completed the mission, what was the feeling like?
I was happy when it was. Well, actually, you don't ever finish, but you don't really ever, like when you cross, it just starts a new set of work. Right? So, things just change. So maybe during the process, you're getting to know each other, but afterwards, we had volunteer work 3 days a week. We had a group at the Y, so we were volunteering there and doing all of that stuff on top of school, and now you have chapter meetings on top of it or whatever else. I decided to join the STEP team, and I was actually the STEP master for 2 years, and so that's on top of everything else. You have to show up. So I say once you cross, you celebrate for a bit. You get to hug and feel just all the love in the world. But then the real work begins.
Right.
You keep going.
Right. Classmate.
So for me, it was kind of surreal because my mother actually came me with her original story. Yeah, we both cried.
And I'm about to say,
I mean, all that right, we made her cry. That was but it was very surreal. And no quicker than I got pinned Then I got another schedule of, okay, so we got state meeting and we got this and we got this. And I'm like, wait, hold on, wait. But I just called, like, Sunday. And I got something to do on, like, Tuesday. So it starts something new.
Okay.
And then you go, all right, well, it looks like my fourth Saturday of the month is, don't look for me until about 5 o'clock, because we got chapter meeting at 11, and we got community service.
Okay.
So you start something new and something fresh, and you see where it goes from there.
Okay, Ms. Lucas, what about you? Was you overwhelmed? What was the feeling?
I felt like it was part 2.
Okay.
Part 1 was the actual process. Part 2 was taking a step back and be like, let me breathe. Okay, so let's go this. You got chapter meeting, you got this, you got class, you got this. Oh, well, you gotta set this organization up, you gotta help this, you got community service here. Well, I think I got class. Oh.
You said you think you got
So it was just kind of like, it was an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
And AT's Delta chapter is known for having huge lines.
Right.
So it was kind of like we knew each other online. Now it's getting to know each other outside of line.
Right.
So it's just kind of like, of course we knew each other's schedule and who was there, this, but now you're learning the more personal aspect of it.
Okay.
Of course, crossing is free. You come back in the fall, you might end up being roommates. So then you see another side of it. So it was just kind of like it was part 2, and it was a constantly learning process. I mean, even still today, like, it's a learning process. Stuff changes from nationals daily.
Right.
And it's right now, like it's part 3.
Thank you. It was like that.
Yeah.
What about you, brother? He's like, after being an assistant principal, a coach, and a life mentor, and still got to go to school, and still signing the paper. What was that feeling like?
Man, I felt liberated. Like I'm for real. Like it was for sure a burden lifted, but it wasn't lifted for long. Just like everybody else said, I think like maybe the next week I was placed in a leadership position in my chapter, and so now it's like the real work begins. And then too, a piece that Tia hit on was like, now it's like, okay, if these are my brothers now, I need to get to know them. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's an ongoing process, because not only do things change in the fraternity in Troy, people change.
Right.
And so getting to just learning people for who they are and learning how to navigate through fraternal business and stuff like that. I mean, I think that's a lifelong journey, but I think that's also the beauty of it as well. Just kind of always, you never get to a point where you master the fraternity or you master the brotherhood. It's always work to be done. So that's the thing that, like most.
What about you, Mr. Tucker? What was it feeling like?
I mean, it felt good. I mean, it's, when they finally say you're afforded all the rights and privileges of a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, I mean, it means a lot.
Because from the streets perspective, like the streets meaning the college kids that's not a part of the fraternity or whatever. It's like, well, y'all get that badge on them, like the women just fall to your feet.
So you dressing me all the way.
I was in the military with him. And the way this brother carried himself, it seemed like everything had to be to it. Like, he was well manicured, he was well groomed. You know what I'm saying? And, for somebody like from the street, like, and man was growing up. And I understand the importance of cologne. Like, even though he wearing cologne before we even do PT, you know what I mean? Before we run 2 miles, he wearing cologne. I understand the importance of taking care of yourself and being well groomed. So, that's what I'm saying. What was that like? The women's always.
I mean, but see, that is a difference at an HBCU and predominantly white institution. Okay. So, I mean, it's like, when I was at UNCW, there was 700 minority students.
Right.
That's Black, Asian, Hispanic, Latino, everybody.
Right.
You know, it was white and non-white,
Right.
but it was 700, a little over 700 of us.
Right.
So all the Blacks kind of knew each other.
Right.
And, you know, so, yeah. Okay. So I'm like my neighbor who's right to my left, and Brent's my cousin.
Yeah.
Also, you know, we had this motto that says, "Frat so nice it ain't twice, came inside my new pie."
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you know, we have that everybody has their slogan or whatever. I mean, we're pretty boys. They're the educated ones. They're the
Yeah. You can say it.
Okay, so the singles are the country boys. And, you know, I didn't know about Aoud until, 1970, something like that. So we won't talk about that. I got to wear UPS uniform.
Y'all should have came up.
But so, like I said, it's when after I crossed, I'm like everybody else, I had to go to, when I went to the first regional meeting, our province meeting, I mean, I was at home because I'm like, I didn't know what was going on, because it's a learning process. But the thing I didn't realize in '92, when I played with '93, or when I was in college, is like somebody said, it's a business. I mean, I wouldn't have known back in '92, April, when I crossed in April, that it's July of 2021 that I'm still involved in fraternity. And the thing is, the guys that I kind of crossed with in spring '92, some players fall '91, fall '90. Those are the guys that are in leadership positions in the fraternity.
Right.
So I'm seeing our province hallmark is a '90s initiative. Our senior vice province hallmark is the fall, I think, '91 initiative. And I remember going to UNCG while I was online. My cousin went to UNCG, and she knew I was online. They were downstepping in her dorm. She's like, "You want to meet him?" I'm like, "Hell no, I don't want to meet him." Not right now. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And so it's funny how you learn. You go back to '92, or when I crossed, and they're a lot younger than I am, and you realize that you see the kind of progression in the stage, because I wasn't involved in fraternity when I was in law school at Central, but I did step at Central.
Right.
I mean, we would have won the step show if we hadn't got kicked off stage for so we got kicked off the stage on the homecoming step show.
What made them keep y'all out?
There was a song that we stepped.
What did he do?
It's one thing about it is I was like, man, I'm in law school, I can't do that. But I did the step. But it was still a song called "Ready Tonight," made by Ready for the World.
Yeah.
Get
ready tonight.
I can't do the step. we got kicked off stage. I mean, it was, going back then. So doing law school was the only period of time I was involved in the fraternity, as far as being active, financial.
Okay.
And, I got back financial in '99, 2000, been financial since then, like a member.
Okay.
But you don't realize when you're an undergrad that it's a life, you say it's a lifelong commitment, but it's a lifelong financial commitment, time commitment, and everything.
All right.
Because, I mean, I can't count the number of hours I put in the fraternity.
Absolutely.
And how many more I got to go.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing, because like here in Rocky Mountain, the older guys are starting to kind of back away and let, like I said, I've been in it 30 years. I'm like, next time, my time to start backing away and let some of the newer guys get involved. So that's the biggest thing is your progression The reorganization.
Okay. What was it like when you crossed?
Oh,
Tell me that still.
yes. I wasn't asleep. I was happy, but I needed to rest. Like I needed to get my body back together. Still playing football, but I needed to rest. And just like everyone else, I didn't know the real work started. And they tell us it's harder being a brother than becoming a brother.
Right.
So after we crossed that weekend we had rituals. That's 3 days of meetings, and we had to go to every single meeting. I mean, like it's like 3 or 4 meetings a day. It started at 8 o'clock, and we got to be there. And you want to go out and drink with the brother and, go on the crazy stuff like that, but that's why people don't see the business side of it. They just see us hopping around and get crazy, but like it's just meetings, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just in there. I don't know what I got to be in there. But, I mean, it just started, the real work starts. And it's, my biggest thing is you constantly learn new information and new people. You just got to stay on your toes.
Right.
So even though I was, happy to cross and, to be done with that side of it, I knew it was a lot more work to do. And it still is every day. Every day.
Right. Is it, you were about to say, what was that feeling like?
It was great. My family was in the second row. My friends were there throughout the show. I kind of feel like I was in a daze. I was just so into what I was doing, and when the show was finally over, it kind of like snapped into it, like, oh snap, I'm done. I don't know, it was one of the happiest days of my life. I'm sure it's more to come, and I've had other accomplishments, but it was really, I was happy. But then after that day, the next week, I started to realize I was no longer just Amari and SG Row Amari or Amari. So you kind of got to start carrying yourself different because they don't. If you do something today, oh, Amari did this, so it's the SG Row doing this. They was downtown doing this, well, she on Snapchat doing this. So you kind of pay attention to that stuff. Did you understand?
All right, so like I said, what made me as a child, like the woman wanted to turn was the movie school days. I wanted to be happy. Half pint crossed over. He took half pint to the party. After that, the man made sure the half pint was taken care of. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How did y'all celebrate? You know what I mean? Like, after cross was it? I mean, after party, like what was it? How did they welcome y'all in?
I think most of us probably had a probate show.
Okay.
So after the probate show, everybody probably think.
Real won't no beat.
There's a party after, but how long we stay? Yeah, how long that's on you?
She was outside.
Yeah, we had a party afterwards. Actually, I believe it was at the Capitol House. We were pretty cool with them. That was a great party. Like, we deserved that.
They talking about they going to bed. You was outside.
We turned up. We deserved that party. It was a good night.
I really wanted to have okay, so like y'all said, it's players, like you said, for most of y'all think I don't remember when we showed the chess cards. What was like after becoming a member? Like when you became a member and you had that badge of honor and you embodied it all, what is it like still to this day?
For me, I'm just grateful that each day, each week, I get to meet more women who are like-minded. Like old school used to be something that some people are afraid of. But the more older sorors that I'm meeting now, they've taken me in and they were the ones who were my intake, my AVP or my dean. I've met some in the airport, random trips, people who, anything that I needed. As a matter of fact, the shirt that I have on, I didn't design it for everybody, but one of my big sisters saw it and she was just like, I want it, and she shared it with everybody else in the group. And now a lot of people have it. There is nothing that I need that I can't find outside of the sisterhood. I have a financial planner, there are doctors, there's lawyers, If I couldn't find someone, just like we were looking for the IOTA to come here, I reached out to one of my big sisters and she said, I know this particular IOTA and we tried to link it up. But to me, it's the connectivity is huge, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to connect to them and hopefully to impart into the next soror that's coming in to be able to link her as well. You definitely have to feed back into the system, but as much as you take, you have to give, and let's do it.
Classmate, like, what is it like still to this day? Like you said, y'all say it's a lifelong commitment. What is it like to this day being a soror?
So we say when Basic call, we answer one and all. Prior to moving back to North Carolina, I was living in Huntsville, Alabama. My father had a stroke. I put it out on Facebook that I needed somebody to come pick me up from the airport. 15 sorors, like, I got you.
Oh, wow.
And I'm talking, in some cases, I had never met these women. Couldn't tell you who they were from campaign. Frat. Some of these people never met a day in my life. Live across the country, live in Japan. Somebody was stationed in actually Afghanistan. And I'm posting about my dad. He's a sick. They were like, how much do y'all need to just to eat while staying at the hospital? And that's the type of sisterhood and brotherhood that people don't see. They see the parties, they see us outdoor community service, but they don't see the business, they don't see the sisterhood, they don't see the brotherhood in actual action. And those are the things that keep us going and keep us involved and keep us feeding back into our individual organizations. I know if I put out a call to Zayla today, hey, I need somebody to help me ride a wheel, somebody gonna hit my inbox.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I need X, Y, Z. A frat might hit my inbox and go, we got you. Makes sense?
Yeah.
And so it's things like that people don't know and that we understand because we've all experienced it in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
Of being able to call on those people that you may never meet them, but you can call them sister, you can call them brother.
Right. What about you?
It's the connectivity, like Shanita said. I'm gonna even go as far back. I was laid off from working in nonprofit, working in marketing for organizations here, and I was in between jobs. The local chapter here knew that I had moved back here. My dad got sick, was in the process of getting everything straight with him, but I lost jobs in process. The local chapter, and I was still back and forth between Greensboro and here. I hadn't even fully came back to Rocky Mount yet, but the chapter here knew that I was in transition to move back here. When I say they rallied around me to make sure that I was able to get into the school system too soon. Once it came about, like, okay, well, we got some more funding coming in. How you feel about TA? Okay, fine. By this time, Dad had passed. Okay, I need a job. So, started TA. After that, that's when the state opened up for teachers, people to start going to school for teaching. There was a Delta by my side by the name of Denise Warren and made sure I was able to connect with the people that I needed to connect to get those classes. Then it came time to pass the praxis. They sat me down and connected me with another soror and said, hey, look, this is what you need to do to pass praxis. Like, it's the behind the scenes stuff that people don't see. It's the networking that people don't see. It's the positivity that people don't see. And just like Nakasi said, of course you see the partying, the hopping, getting cute when you go into the club. But it's about people. And it's kind of like you building relationships from people across the globe. I didn't know these people like that. They probably knew me from a little girl, but I didn't know them like that. They didn't have to do that. They could have said, oh, well, I passed her resume on. No, they actually lended a helping hand. So it's that kind of keeps you going and keeps you pushing to make sure you pour back into, I guess I can say this now, the younger sorors. Like, kind of show them the way. If that makes sense.
What about you, Mr. James?
So,
think that for me personally, it's been an amazing experience. For me, I have really been blessed to serve locally, at the state level, at the regional level in my short period of time, and so it's been a real fast matriculation process for me. But I'm reminded of, for me, what I said I was going to do as the alpha, then that's what I meant. And so I know that people are going to hold me accountable to what I said. I don't know what everybody else's process is now. I think this is too much information, but you have to, when you apply, you got to write some essays about what is it you say you're going to do. And I tell brothers all the time, like, what did you write in your essay? Because that's your personal level of accountability. Because brothers not going to always remind you, like, hey, Brother Tuck, remember you said this? Or Tia, remember you said, nah, like, you got to hold yourself accountable. And so what fraternity has provided for me, in terms of that support, and just echo the sentiments of everybody else. Crossing Alpha was probably the last thing my mom saw me accomplish, because 4 months later after I crossed, she got sick, and 3 months after that she passed away. And and not to say my family wasn't, but some of the greatest support that I had at arguably the hardest time of my life came from fraternity brothers. In fact, I met fraternity brothers and connected with brothers at that time because of what I was going through. And so for me, it's like, it's a daily reminder that, as you said, like, I have everything I need within the brotherhood. Whether it's resources, connectivity, whether it's a brother who I know I can pick the phone up and just say, man, let me talk to you because I got a lot going on and I don't really talk to everybody like that, so it's just been a blessing for me. So I think that whole mantra of who much is given, much is required, right? The friend has given me so much, and so I'd be remiss not to give it back in the name of Alpha.
Absolutely. And if you think about it, like, you think about like Superman or Batman, you throw up the bat signal, one person coming. If you send out an AKA symbol, everybody on the way. Everybody everywhere who can come and help you. But at the same time, when you see the light, you respond.
Right.
So,
What about you, Mr. Tucker? What's the feeling like today?
I have the same feeling I had back years ago. It's like I said, you don't realize that how much you're going to give to the fraternity or get from fraternity when you cross. You just don't, because all you're thinking is, okay, I'm doing this, I'm on campus. When I'm in campus, I'm done. Right. And a lot of white sororities and fraternities, that's what it is. So, and I have guys, that pledge some of the white fraternities where it's like, man, you active with your fraternity, y'all have, what do y'all be doing? I'm like, we have alumni chapters. Yeah. Local chapters in every city, both cities. And we do this, and this. Man, we just did that underground. I know. But like everybody said is, my wife's an AK, my father-in-law's a Kappa, my sister-in-law's AKs, and so, these guys, the Alphas, the Omegas, the Sigmas, I have some good friends that are Alphas. Alpha used to cut my hair in college when I was at undergrad. The Sigmas, I used to joke with them all the time. We go back to homecoming, we have a ball because we know the days back in the early 90s when we used to have so much fun on campus. And we would help each other. We joke, we have a good time with each other. We joke about each other's organizations, we talk about each other's organizations. And some people may think, we're down with somebody else, but it's just the history of what we do. So I don't get offended when the Alpha says the Kappa's a such and such. Okay, cool. Prove it. So, but you understand that, and I teach these younger brothers that why pay so much money to join just to say I'm a member of Kappa outside? Keep that money in your pocket. If you gonna come here for 6 weeks or whatever it is and do this, and then next year when we come back to the meetings, you're not there, why are you wasting money? Use that $3,000, $4,000, put it in the stock market, throw it away. Do whatever. But I don't mind taking somebody's money now. But I'm like, why would you, especially if you employed.
That's right.
Or I remember I went back home with my mom and dad. We were sitting at Western System, and I said, "Mom, I need some money." She's like, "What?" I said, "I want to play a scap outside." She's like, "What is that?" I said, "That is a fraternity, and I need the money to play." Well, how much is it? $275. Good. That's what it cost me.
Yeah.
In '92. All right, $275.
Wow.
So she said, the only thing she said to me is, "I'll give you the money." I said, "I'll pay you back. I promise I'll pay you back." She said, "I'm gonna give you the money as long as don't let them cut your hair." I said, "What?" She said, "They better not cut your hair." I said, "Okay." They didn't cut my hair, thank God. But I'm like, I tell these guys they paid $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I put a $275 investment in this thing, and this is what I've gotten out of it over the last 30 years. Why do you want to pay $3,500 and be gone next year? Why? Doesn't make any sense. So you got to you get out of what you put in, because I've served every office locally and in undergrad, every position that was and involved on our provincial level. Now, so I've seen it from all aspects of it, and I just don't understand how somebody can spend so much time. And I mean, it's tiring. I mean, you work all day, and you might go, we got to go meet somebody at 7 o'clock and be such and such, or Saturday morning 8 o'clock, we got to go do this. It's tiring, but you got to do it because that's what you said you were going to do. When you cost the same.
So I can interject right quick. You know why they give you the money and don't collect you? Because time is more valuable than money. And you get that $35, like that $35 could be, they hit a lot of off there. That $35 can come anyway. But when it comes time to ask, all right, now, come on, sit down and eat, we're going to get the community, the football could be on that day. They could have went to the club, man, like anything. So yeah, everybody's easy to
But see, and this is, I learned this a long time ago from James Brady, who got me in the fraternity. He always said Catholics. He said, one thing about Catholics, we party hard, we have a good time, but next morning at 8 o'clock, when we got to go to work, go to class, we get your ass up and you go to work. And that has always stuck with me. It doesn't matter. I can go to Raleigh and hang out 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, but if I got to go to court at 8 o'clock the next morning, I get up and I go. If I got community service to do, like at our province meetings, we may hang out at 2, 3 o'clock in the hospitality rooms. At 8:30 when that business session starts, I got to be there. And I'm there. I'm tired with my coffee and all that. I went to a conclave and I was out at 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun was coming up. And the sun was coming up. And I had an 8 o'clock meeting. And I went back to the room, took a shower, put my suit on, and I was sitting in that meeting. So it's all about what you want to do.
And so Mr. Tucker remember seeing you in court 8 o'clock in the morning, looking at the time, just though he was outside.
They're not going to go outside.
Reputation is what it is for a reason. What about you, Bill Willis, what's the feeling like as a man still being a girlfriend?
You don't know until you're on the other side how many people are a part of that organization or how many connections you're going to have without even asking. Like I didn't, Frenchie, I think Frenchie was early 2000s. I didn't know he was a Cuban until I was there.
You know what? And now that you said it, he had the brand on back in the day. It's just you never paid attention. Because like I said, when I thought of what you thought, I thought of more Mike Bailey aspect of you know what I'm saying? French was more laid back. He couldn't really get without you.
So you never know how many connections you have. And I think that in the face of adversity, that's when you see like the true brothers come out. I moved from Florida back down to Charlotte for a job. My apartment wasn't going to be ready for 3 weeks. And I talked to my frat brother, older frat brother, and told him I need somewhere to stay, do they like a stay, something like that. He called the bruh, and I slept on this couch, for 3 weeks. And I mean, it's a form that, we say a person in the corner, and that's all I needed for that, and that's what he gave me. I had never met him or anything like that. I talked to him on the phone, met him face to face, and that was it. And he took me in just because I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So that's you don't get that every day. Now, like Tucker was saying, like I have good friends that are Kappas, Alphas, Sigmas. hours, but that's just what it is because of the history. And we just go back and forth about, you know, the that's right and all that, but we ain't got to talk about that. I'll tell you what it is.
It's haters.
Yeah,
Well,
You sound like you still bad depression and excited about it. What is it like still to this day? Are you still energetic and happy to be a Buddha, or like you have the days like I hate the
I don't know. Definitely excited.
Okay.
It's a lifetime commitment, like they said, but still being young, I'm kind of in a place where I'm still transitioning, you know, from undergrad to grad chapter, and I'm needing those connections, like certain times I needed jobs. Just by putting certain store word names as a reference, my app got bored. I'm getting called for interviews. You know, if I'm going through something, I'll text my older stores, hey, so-and-so, I'm in the hospital, I got to have this done, pray for me. They're calling my phones, we praying for you, Sora Haynes, we got you, if you need anything, call me. So it still amazes me to this day where if I need something, and maybe my family might not have it, my sorors have it. So that's really like the best part, knowing you have an extended family that if you ever really need something, they got you without even having to ask. Yeah.
I want to appreciate everybody for coming up here to go chat with Matt tonight and representing our organizations. But before I let y'all go, I got to ask this. Who the damn best? That's up.
Ready to pull out. I don't know what to get ready to go.
Anyway, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Go chat with Matt tonight. I D9 edition, Stomp the Yard edition. If you know me, you follow me, you know what I'm saying, whether it's on the episode or just a random day, y'all know my passion and my love is safe. So my love to do. And every week, we go have a Go Chat with Matt Battle of the Day. Being that I have a bunch of outstanding members up here representing their organizations, it was only right that I bring you this for the Go Chat Battle of the Day. You can see what I'm going I don't want it to start right it's sweet I can love you you like my life. I feel like you know my mind. I say October 3rd, MGM, Master Hall, Charlie Wilson will be in the building. Charlie, last time I seen you, I felt very out of place. They had a bunch of old Thundercats out there. They had on their top hats. They had on their suits. They had on whatever kind of shoes they had on. And I was there in street clothes, looking like a thug off the block. Hey, Charlie, I got them deals this time. I said, I got them deals this time. So tell them old niggas when I come, I'm coming. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in to Go Chat with Matt, the D9 edition. Tune in next week as we have Andre Knight, City Councilmember Ward 1, come up here to Go Chat with Matt, and we're going to do some talking. I know, you know, he's a very, very prominent figure in the city. And you know, we'll get up here and just talk about the community, whatever. Also, I want to announce that November 27th, if you went to any HBCU anywhere, get your damn colors ready. Cause Matt Miller coming in that blue and gold. Now I know I didn't graduate from A&T, but I went about 7 years. Two of them was the student. 5 I was just on the yard doing me. So if you went to Central, if you went to Winston-Salem, if you went to St. if you went to Shaw, if you went to Fayetteville State, you went to Mississippi State University, if you went to Norfolk State, if you went to Howard University, wherever you may went to, make sure you put your colors on because the HBCU Alumni Gala will be going down November 27th at the Rocky Mountain Event Center. It's going to be a very great event. Don't think you're going to come in there with no jeans, no sneakers, or no Timberlands. You have to put that shit on. No baseball caps. I got 2 bars. I got food. If you want to hit us up for VIP tables for your organizations, let me know. I got DJs. We just gonna come out and have a grand time. If you ain't never seen Matt Miller spell, hey, that night you will. So again, I would appreciate for everybody to tune in and get ready to turn up with us November 27th. I'm giving away $5,000 in scholarship money. I'm gonna have a few keynote speakers, and we just go have a good time and highlight Black excellence and HBCU alumni. Though you do not have to have attended an HBCU or college to even come, but it's just that night is the thing. Juneteenth ain't enough. Juneteenth is not enough to give us our flowers to pat ourselves on the back. February ain't a long enough month. They should have gave us that in December and January. Something. You know what I'm saying? So what we got to do is we got to create our own vibes. So again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Go chat with Mac, DJ Technology.
This is Go Chat with Mac, the People's Podcast.
Get your word. Stop that thing, baby. Swift